Okay, so topic for today, be glad that it didn't happen. This can be a bit of a tough one because we're talking about us essentially not getting what it is that we want. And that's never easy because simply we want what we want and we don't get it. We don't like it. so, um, the main idea of this is there are some things that we say that we want. We may pray about these things, may try to manifest these things, do all the different little tricks in the book to try to make certain things happen. But the reality is, there are some things that we want so bad, we wish for, we hope for, we pray for, we say we need, we try to manifest all these things. But there are a lot of things that we just don't get. Now, there are several reasons for this. Sometimes we don't get these things because we haven't done certain things on our part to make sure the things that we say we want happen. Um, and sometimes this can come from just simply being ill prepared for what it is that we say we want. Trying to ask for things that we don't have the mental space for, we don't have the physical space for, we haven't done the preparation to make having those things come to us make sense. So that's one of the various reasons why we don't get the things that we want and why some things that we want to happen don't happen. But what we're going to talk about tonight is more so going to be about the things that we want, hope for, pray for, all these things, but they don't happen, and that's a good thing. Because a lot of times we tend to be like kids, little kids. And those of you that are listening that are parents, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, some of you are not parents, or you have no babysitting experience, anything like that. But the one thing that we do have in common, all of us, is that we were all kids at one point. And we all wanted something. And we were all told no. And no matter how much sense the adults made when they told us no, when they told us the reason why no, we weren't trying to hear any of that. We weren't trying to hear none of that stuff. All we wanted was what we wanted. And yeah, we were young, so we couldn't really fathom, we couldn't really think past the thing that we wanted, and that was it. But the adults in our lives were thinking about so many other things other than just that one thing that we were asking for. And really, by saying no, by denying us, by essentially making us upset, they were doing the best thing for us. They were looking out for us. And we as adults, sometimes we tend to repeat that same way of thinking when it comes to certain things that we want or certain people that we want because we're asking about the main thing. We want to focus on that thing that we want and that's it. But there are certain aspects that come along with getting that thing, certain aspects that come along with getting that person that are either so out of our line of thinking and we just don't care about it, we're just going to ignore it. All we want is the thing, all we want is the person. Or we see exactly what comes along with getting that thing or getting that person, but we are too emotionally led to want that thing, to get that thing, to really pay attention and say to ourselves, you know what? Maybe I should think a little differently. It gets difficult. It gets difficult because your emotions are involved and you want what you want. And especially as an adult, once you get past that, being under your parents' roof, my house, my rules type of thing, when you become an adult where really nobody can tell you what to do anymore, it gets really difficult to be able to rope it in as far as putting a limiting to your own freedom and understanding that there are some things that you just don't need. There are some things that you may want real bad, but you just don't need them. And I don't know how some of you feel about religion, about God or higher entity, higher power, but there has to be something. There has to be something that is providing some sort of guidance, some sort of protection in place. Because coincidentally, some of the things that you've been wanting, some of the things that you wanted, some of the people you've wanted, and you just can't seem to understand why it didn't work out, why it didn't happen, why you didn't get what you were trying to get. There was something that was intentionally put in your way. There was something that slowed you down. There was something that took your mind off of it. Something that made you 2 seconds too late or 2 seconds too soon to where you didn't get that thing that you wanted, that person that you wanted. And it seems unfair. Oh man, I missed my chance. I missed my opportunity. But there were probably so many things that were hidden behind the face of that thing, the face of that person that you probably would have never known about until it was too late. Now, these are some of the things that I call the Trojan horses. And if you are not familiar with the story of the Trojan horse, essentially, some folks jumped up in a big old horse and made of wood. It was supposed to be I believe, like a peace treaty or like a something, a gift or whatever. And as soon as that big old horse was rolled into the enemy territory, all of the soldiers and people that were inside of that horse crawled out of that horse and attacked that fortress, attacked that castle, whatever it was, and I believe they won that war. So, there are some things that are Trojan horses. And the Trojan horse in your world, the things that you want in your world that really are Trojan horses, are things where you're only looking at all the positives, all the good aspects, all the beneficial stuff, all the things that you can, benefit from, enjoy, and everything. And don't get it twisted. Uh, I want you to think positively. I'd rather you be optimistic in life about a lot of things, but I also would like for you to be smart because I want you to be able to look at both sides of the coin. Because there's some things where you weigh out all the pros and you ignore all the cons and you just focus on all the pros. Meanwhile, the cons are just waiting for you to just take all your focus, put it on the pros so the cons can just attack. Now that thing that you wanted so bad, now that thing that was supposed to be so good, is not good anymore. Now you hate it. Now you wish you never had it. And there has to be something out there, someone out there for those that do not believe in God or do not believe in a certain higher being. There has to be something out there that's looking out and saying, no, 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 no. Let me block this. Let me prevent this person from getting that specific thing. Because just like when we were kids, and we can't understand why mommy and why daddy is saying no to this thing, no to that thing, or no, you can't go this place, or no, we can't do this, do that. And there are reasons far beyond our thinking at that time. There may be some entity, some being, God, for those of us that believe that has the understanding that's far beyond our own, that has the foresight far beyond our own, that is able to step in and say, okay, all right, I see what you're trying to bring about. I see what you're trying to prepare for. No. And I can't really explain too much of why it's no, but just know that I'm saying no for a reason. There has to be something like that going on. Because there are some things that were meant for your detriment, that just appeared to be for your good, that you didn't get. And it was frustrating for you. It was frustrating for you, made you angry. It made you think that all of your prayers fell on deaf ears. Well, for those of you that believe in prayer and the power of prayer, things like that, manifesting and speaking to the universe, all these things, your prayers, your manifestations, your chants did not fall on deaf ears. Because while you may be focused on that specific thing, God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to believe, is focusing more on the energy behind the words that you're using, the reason why you're asking for those things. And while you may not get that specific thing, the energy behind it, the reason behind it, may be the thing that's getting addressed. So you don't get that specific thing you asked for, but you got something better, something you probably would have never thought of, but it works out way better for you. How many times has that happened in your life? How many times has that worked out to where, no, you didn't get this job, you didn't get that job, and that was the one that you wanted, but you got this one instead. And it wasn't until you started working that job until you realized, oh man, with this job I can do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Man, I have this kind of freedom. I have this possibility to go this way, to go that way. I can go with this thing. I can benefit this way and that way. And if you had gotten that dream job that you were so focused on earlier, you would not have had any of those freedoms. You wouldn't have any of those extra possibilities to get any of those extra things going. How many of you wanted a specific car and things did, everything was supposed to line up perfectly so that you got that specific car, but you ended up not being able to get it. And for some reason, you just happened to look this way. Some reason you happen to look that way. Some reason you meant to search and scroll and click on one thing and you clicked on another thing by mistake. And then you ended up coming across the car that was better for you. How many times has that happened? How many times have you been thinking about wishing that you could get that one guy, that one girl, and oh man, I really, really want this person, and I would love to have that person in my life, and then for whatever reason, you just end up dealing with someone else. And you realize, oh shoot, all the things align. This is actually better for me. How many times have you had a plan, oh man, I'm going to move to this place. I'm going to go to this, oh man, yeah, it's going to be so fabulous. I'm going to be at this, oh man, I can't wait to move to this area. It's going to be fantastic. And things didn't work out. But somehow along the way, another metropolitan area or another rural area just comes to mind, or just happens to, come to your scroll, your feed, or whatever, as you're scrolling through or whatever, and it just clicks for you. Oh man, I can just go here. And if I go here, now I can do this, I can do this, I can have that, and do this thing, do this thing, do that thing. I can have it all. Versus if I went here, I was only thinking about getting this benefit and that your life, whether you realize it or not, when it's been something that you wanted so bad and you didn't get it, and it's not fair. No, man, it's not what I wanted, And then once you once you realize that instead of getting what you thought you wanted, you got what you really wanted, and you got what you needed, and you see now, oh man, boy, am I glad I didn't get that thing. Well, sometimes you have to be glad that some things didn't happen. Be glad that some things didn't work out. There are so many things that uh, we tend to try to get because we think it makes sense. We've only thought one or two steps ahead, but there's like 15 or 20 steps ahead that we should have considered, but we didn't. And if we had thought those 15 to 20 steps ahead, there's a good chance we would have thought a bit harder about whether we really wanted this thing or not. And this is where learning how to play chess really benefits you, because you really have to think about the things you're going to do. You have to think about so many moves that you can make. Each of those moves, now you have to anticipate how many different moves your opponent can make based off of each of those different moves. That's a lot of moves to make. That's a lot of things to think about. It's a lot of things to consider. But with that type of thinking, you're able to really get past the emotional aspect of things and really put some good logic to it and understand whether or not you want this thing because it makes sense for you to have it, or you just want it because it's nice to have. Some things are just nice to have and, a detriment to keep. It'd be cool if you had this thing. It'd be cool if you had that thing. But if you thought about all of the care that it would take to have that thing, all of the maintenance that goes into having that thing, all of the emotion, the energy draining aspects that go into having this thing, aside from the glamorous part that you had in your head, then it would make you think a bit differently about a lot of things that you think you want. So, being able to take a moment and just let your emotions calm down a bit. Also, have something to eat. Have something to eat. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. If your blood sugar is low, or if you're hungry, you think way differently than you normally would. That Snickers commercial that says you're not yourself when you're hungry, it's true. It's really true. There are so many of us that have made certain decisions that weren't the best decisions because we were hungry. I said in a previous video that it's easy to eat something that we know is bad for us if we're starving. Because if you're starving, it doesn't matter if it's bad for you or not. You just need something to eat. So, you really have to pay attention to little things like that that affect your judgment, that affect what it is that you think you want. And this thirst or this hunger, this goes far beyond just eating food. This goes into your everyday life. There's some of you that are dating, trying to date, and if it's been a while since you've had any type of intimacy, it's been a while since you've been in any type of relationship, and all the things, all the good aspects of relationships, and you're kind of starving in a sense, it is so easy for you to make a bad decision, get into a bad situation that you know is not good for you, but you're starving in one way or another. And because of that, it doesn't matter how bad this thing is. It doesn't matter how, not good the situation is. You just need something because you're starving. There are some of us that make certain life choices, life decisions, because if you are financially starving, you're more likely to do things that you would normally do. If you had enough money to sustain yourself, then you would know, no, I don't need to get into that. I don't need to do this. I don't need to try that. I don't need to even think about this. Well, that's because you're not financially starving. But if you are, well, now the thing that you know better than to do, the thing that you would never do, now those things are options because you're financially starving and you need something now. So, little things like that make a big impact on how bad you want something, or whether or not you want something in the first place. Also, sleep. If you are sleep deprived, that plays a huge factor on your thinking. There may be certain things that you know you don't want, that you know you don't need, but because you're sleep deprived, you're not thinking clearly. It's almost like being drunk. Your brain, you're not firing on all cylinders. And you're kind of kind of delirious in a sense. Well, not in a sense, you actually are delirious if you're sleep deprived. You are a certain level of delirious because your brain is kind of trying to stay awake, but it's kind of dipping into that I'm about to go to sleep on you thing, but here I'll give you a little more energy to stay awake, but I'm about to fall asleep on you, but then give you a little more energy to stay awake, but I'm about to fall asleep on you. So that little wavelength of about to go, about to go, about to go, about to go, you're not firing on all cylinders. You're not considering all the things that you should consider. You're just making a decision. You're just wanting something. You're just going for something. There are so many things that affect what it is that you think you want, things that you think you wish you had. So, sometimes you have to be glad that certain things didn't work out. I can tell you from experience, if certain things that I pursued, certain things that I went for, certain things that I applied to, if they had worked out, right now I would be so limited in my creativity. I would be so limited in who and what I am. This would not be a possibility. If half of the things that I went out to do, that I sought, if I got those things, I probably would have been right now bogged down doing this much work and getting this much results. And that probably would have had me in such a mental fog that the thought of doing this, producing this for you all, that would have been so far out of my head that this would have never happened. And for some of you, you're listening, and this is just good listening. This is just good stuff to listen to. Some of you are listening to this, and this is the thing that you have been needing for weeks, for months. You've been needing this type of stuff for years. And I'm glad that I put myself in a position to where I can provide this for you. And I'm going to do my best to keep it up, keep it coming for you. So there's some things and there's some people that I'm glad I never connected with because I wasn't thinking all the way. I wasn't thinking it through. And if we did connect, life would have been much more stressful. It's a nice way of saying things without saying things. But really pay attention to some of the things that you want, some of the things that you say you want. Really take your time. Let yourself feel the emotions. Don't neglect yourself of that. But after you've given yourself that moment to feel all of the feels that there's to feel about that thing that you think you want or that person that you think you want, all right, now let's think. Now let's put some logic to this. Now let's make an actual pro list and an actual con list. Let's literally do that. Because sometimes you need to see yourself writing these things out. Because those will be the things that make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because that's how things come to you. When you make it make sense. If it makes sense, you ask God, you ask the universe for this thing or that thing and the other thing. But if you really look at the thing that you're asking for and you look at your ability to truly receive all of the aspects of it, would it make sense? Would it make sense for you to have that thing, but you don't have any type of resources to sustain that thing? Would it make sense for you to have that person? And why you would be, you would be just, you'd be in bliss because you got that person. How would that person feel about having you? Would you be worth having? So you gotta make it make sense. And also, walk it all the way down. Walk that dog all the way down the road. That's one thing that I remember hearing when I was a little boy. And of course, the only thing I could picture is somebody literally walking the dog all the way down the street. But as I grew and as I understood, okay, this is a figurative thing. And when you walk the dog all the way down the street, you really think about all the different aspects of what it is that you're asking for. This thing that I'm asking for, do I have the resources to maintain this thing? Do I have the place for it to be? Is this really what I want, or do I want something similar to it? Or am I looking for something that it provides, but not that specific thing? Maybe something else that provides that similar thing, but in a better way suited for me. Do I really want that person? Or do I want the idea of that person that I have in my head? And when you talk about the idea of a person that you have in your head, now you're breaking down, okay, is it really that person that I want? Or do I have a certain set of things that I want in a person, in a mate, in a lover, in a partner, in a spouse, and I just wish that that person had it, and they just don't have it? There's a lot to consider when you walking the dog all the way down the road. And walking the dog all the way down the road requires you kind of being real with yourself, real about what it is you want, what it is that you think you want, versus what it is that you actually want. And you have to consider what it is that you actually need. After you've gone through all the motions, all the things about what it is that you want, that you think you want, now you have to look at what it is that you really need and see if the things that you want and the things that you need actually gel. Do they make sense? Have you made it make sense? So, what's for you is truly for you. If it's something that you want, or somebody that you want, they're coming. If it's something that you want, it's coming. And it's truly for you, it's coming. Half the time it's coming whether you ask for it or not. And sometimes that's the best time when you're not asking for it, when you're not looking for it, because all the expectations that you would place on things are gone. Because a lot of times our expectations get in the way of what it is that we really need, what it is that we really want. So, what is for you is for you. It's truly for you. And you know when something is really for you. You're going to feel it. There's a certain ease in here, a certain ease up here, a certain ease here when it's something that's really for you, because you don't have to force it to be for you. Now, if there's something that's just not for you, or you can try as hard as you want, it's not happening, baby. Only thing you get is a whole bunch of stress. But something that's truly for you, you'll know it's for you. You'll know it. You will know for sure, and there will be no doubt. Yeah, this is obviously for me. It's sort of that this porridge is too hot, this porridge is too cold, but this one is just right. You'll know when it's just right. There'll be no question, there'll be no doubt. Oh yeah, that's the one. Oh yeah, she's the one. Yeah, he's the one. So, at the end of the day, there are some things that you need to be glad didn't work out. Some things you need to be glad didn't happen. Some people you need to be glad you never got together with. And sometimes it's not so much, oh man, it was going to be a big bad detriment to you. It was going to turn out terrible and awful. Sometimes it's just something as simple as there's just a better opportunity for you. And maybe you deserve better than that. And you didn't realize that you deserved better than that until you got better. You may be the thing that's better for somebody. That somebody else may be somebody that's better for you. So, how do you know for sure? There's a certain knowing in here. But with all of the different detriments, all of the different things that we worry about, all of the different outcomes that we're so afraid of, sometimes it's hard to determine which is which. Is this really something that's for me, or is it something I just want to be for me? That may be something a bit difficult to deal with, something difficult to realize. And that's where getting help comes into play. That's where having a life coach in your corner, a life coach that you can reach out to, comes into play. In other words, that's where Style by Mr. Reed comes into play for you. So, zooming in too deep into a situation allows you to see all of the tiny little parts and zoom in on all the tiny little parts and be so focused on the tiny little parts that you're too hyper focused to be able to zoom out and look at the big picture. And sometimes if you're able to do that, then the answer is clear. The resolution is clear. But some of us are not as easily equipped to just be able to zoom out and zoom in so quickly and so accurately. And some of us are. So, you may need the help of someone who's able to look at things not just from a zoomed out perspective, but also from the outside in perspective. Because looking at things from different aspects gives you different realities and helps you come to different understandings. And when you have all these different understandings, you're able to see things, truly see things holistically, and make the best decisions. So you may need assistance with this, and I want you to have assistance with this. This is why I'm going to tell you now to visit styledbymrreid.com. STYLEDBYMRREID. Styledbymrreid.com. You take a look around and see what speaks to you. And then you book your session with me. And then let's get you to the best you that you can be. Or reach out here. Leave a comment here. Send a message, send an email to info@styledbymrreid.com. Let's work together and let's get you to the best you that you can be. And as far as this is concerned, getting you to the best you that you can be means having someone to help you be able to zoom out as well as zoom in so that we can determine which things you need to be glad didn't work out or didn't happen. So, that's all we got for today. Thank you all for listening. And I'll see you on the next one. Oh, almost forgot. Now, I'll see you on the next one.